So, Torben, are you a house church guy? No, not anymore. Are you? So you are tradition church? No, not. I'm a church guy. I believe in a body, and I believe the body have all of it, and not only one of it. And that is the problem when we say house church. I see that now, because then we isolate ourselves to say this is who we are, or bigger church, this is who we are. No, we need it all. And when it all comes together, explosion happens. Hey, welcome. I want to do a special video here, and I choose to do it outside here. Look at it. It is beautiful. It's Bergen, Norway. It's raining a lot normally, and it's cold. It's not like Mexico, but it's amazing what God is doing. And I did a post on Facebook the other day where I wrote, I do not believe in only the house church anymore. And I want to explain that, because I still believe in meeting in the homes, but I've seen there is a problem when it comes to the house churches. But I also see a problem when it comes to the more traditional churches. And I want to explain, and this is very, very important. House church or meeting in the homes is still important. I believe that. It's all biblical. It was in the homes, they had communion, they shared a love feast, they broke the bread, and they came together in the homes. It's all biblical. But why did I did a post the other day where I said I do not believe in only the house church anymore? Because I see a minus with the house church, especially when they're isolated. If you're part of a bigger house church network and come together, it's different. But there is something you don't find in a house church alone. And what is that? That is, for example, the fivefold ministry. The way it is. You don't find some of the strength you should see in the church when a house church is isolated. You also don't find some of those things in the more traditional church. And this is what I want to share, and this is where I learned a lot. Through the years, there was a time I worked with evangelizing a lot. Then there was a time I worked a lot when it comes to house churches. Then there was a time, even before that, I worked in a pastor in the more traditional sense of being a church. And God had taken me on a journey, and I, over this journey, have really seen what we need. And that is what I call the model of Jesus. And there was a video I gave out the other day, and I want to talk about it. First, before I do that, I want to say God is amazing what God is doing. We have been in Norway for 2 weeks. We have met so many pastors and leaders. It's incredible. The last 2 days we have spent with some pastors and leaders from Bergen and who have a church network all over Norway. And we just connected. God did something. Yesterday I was crying really from the deep of my heart, because I felt, yes, I'm coming out of the desert. In that sense that jail was really, really hard, and it's still sitting us, of course, in some areas. Mexico was amazing in that sense that we saw fruit with churches and multiplication. And God really did a lot there. But it was also still the desert, because there was things I could not do. Like I was limited because of my language. We were in different culture, different nation, and things was different. Coming to Norway now, and what I did this weekend was really a stepping out of that desert period I felt I've still been in Mexico. And I am excited, and I can see amazing movement that is beginning in Norway. Many doors have been opened for me. So next weekend here, I'm going to speak in one church. It's called Jesus Fellowship. Next weekend again, we're going to use that church to do our first public meeting. And then next month, we will get a lot of churches here, do a big kickstart. And then later next month, we will do another conference where we talk about Together for the Gospel. And we do another conference where we are talking about how to create a movement. And this new teaching series conference I'm doing, how to create a movement, I did it in France and in Switzerland. And now I'm doing it here in Bergen. And in December, I'll go to Oslo and do it. And maybe even Stavanger and do it in October. So many things are happening right now, and so many doors are being opened. I want to talk about this because in this journey, the teaching series I'm giving out, and now it's starting to rain again. It's always raining here. It's the most rainy city in the world, and in Europe. I put some pictures in. I'm giving out a teaching series. It starts with the right seed. The right seed is important. But it's not only about the seed. The right seed needs to go in the right ground. And it's the doing of the word that makes the seed, the right seed, grow in the right ground. If you only hear the word, nothing will change. And that is our challenge in the Western world. We have knowledge up here, but we have obedience down here. Or we know what to do. No, but we actually don't know because we don't do it. It's first when you do it, you really know how it is. It's not just theory, it's life. So the right seed in right ground, and it's the doing the word. The framework of where we are doing it is not only the house church. The framework is not only the bigger church. And this is important. If you limit to a house church only, there is a big chance you become a kumbaya group who have a good time and just coming together, but you don't see multiplication in life. Or if you only do in the more traditional sense of the church, the bigger church, it becomes more like an institution. and you miss many things. So the model of Jesus is this. I put a picture in here. What did we see in Jesus' life? He had the 12. Yeah, the 12 was where he raised up the disciples, the apostles, but it was the house fellowship somehow. That was the gathering together. That was the family. That was the breaking the bread, having communion. That was the 12 he walked with. But out of those 12, he was mentoring. He was discipling 12, but he was mentoring 3, John, James, and Peter. He spent extra time with those 3, and they became pillars in the body, in the church. Out of those 3, John, James, and Peter, we got 1st, 2nd Peter. Peter influenced the Gospel of Mark. So 1st, 2nd Peter and Book of Mark. We have John who wrote 1st, 2nd, 3rd John, the Gospel of John and the Book of Revelation. And James became the first martyr. All of this we came out of 3. The rest of the 12, we only got 1 book, Matthew, who wrote the Gospel of Matthew. So out of those 12, out of those 3, we got so much, and the rest, we only got 1 book. Jesus spent extra time mentoring the 3. We need the 3. But the Holy Spirit was not poured out of the 12. No, the Holy Spirit was poured out of the 120. That was a bigger gathering or 10 house churches coming together, how you look at it. But it was there they encountered God. And if you only meet alone, isolated in a house church, us and us and us, you will miss the encountering God as you experience when you are in the setting of a bigger group, of a bigger church. But the special miracles God performed was when he did the mission, the multitude. And it's out there on mission. We experience special things, and we need it all. We need the fellowship of the 12, the gathering. But we need the leadership training of the 3, and we need the bigger gathering of the 120, because that is where you see the fivefold ministry in action. You don't see every single house church don't have the fivefold ministry in it. But when you come together in a bigger group, or as a network, or as a bigger church, you will find the gifting. and it's all important. This is what I'm teaching about. And this is why I do not only believe in the isolated house church anymore. Or I do not only believe in the bigger church. We need it all. But Jesus did not stop there. He did not stop with the 3, the 12, the 120, or the multitude. He always finds time to reach the one who was lost. And that's where the number of the 70 came in, because he gathered 70, sent them out 2 and 2 to find the person of peace, the one who was lost. We need to have a focus on the lost. And many churches lose that focus. And if you lose that focus, it influences the rest. All of those are impacted by each other. But Jesus did not stop there. He also had the alone time with God. In the midst of discipling the 12, mentoring the 3, reaching the multitude, in the midst of finding the one who was lost, Jesus always find alone time with God. In the beginning of Mark, you see that very clear. He spoke in the synagogue early morning. He went to the house of Simon, Andrew, where Simon Peter's mother-in-law was sick, and he ministered to her and he healed the one. And John was also there, so he was together with them. And then he went from there to the multitude and proclaimed the gospel. And many, many sick came and stood in front of his door. He got healed the whole night until sunset. The sun went down and he still kept ministering. And then we read in the beginning of Mark, early next morning, before the sun was up, he went to a deserted place to spend time with God. Jesus only slept a few hours that night. Here you see a day in Jesus' life. He did not only have the house church or the big church, he had all of it early next morning. Why is it so important to have time with God? Because if you remove that, you will dry out. It will become works. And that is the thing. We have the alone time with God, the 1, the 3, the 12, the 120, and the multitude. If you remove one of them, it influences the rest. If you remove the alone time with God, what then? You will dry out. It will be works. But if you only focus on the alone time with God, and this is what we see also. Some people only focus on that. My Christian life is me and God. It's just me and God. There is nothing called just you and God. There's nothing. You're baptized into Christ, yes, but you're also baptized into the body. We are body. You are a member of the body. You have been called to make disciples. And you cannot do that with just you and God. If you're just you and God, you will never hear the words, "Well done, you good and faithful one." Or if you only focus on the lost, reaching the lost, that, it's the only thing we do. We are only reaching the lost here. We are a group who go out and evangelize. That's the only thing we do. You also not hear, "Well done, you good and faithful one." Why? Because where's the discipleship? Where's the leadership? Where's the training? Where's the raising up the next generation of disciples if we are just evangelizing all the time? Or if you only focus on the 12 or the 120. There is people today who only focus on one of them, or there is people who lack one of them. We need it all. And that is the teaching I gave out here. And this is part of the series, How to Create a Movement. And when I share this to pastors and leaders or churches or people in churches, they're like, this is the missing piece. This is what we have lacked in my life, in our churches. The whole series here. And I want to do this video, and in a few days I'll come out with the next teaching in the series called The Spiritual Level, how we get people born again and raise them up from infants to young men to parents in really short time. I truly believe we are standing in beginning of something very unique in Bergen, in Norway, in Europe, all over the world. We need it all. We need to see all of this come together. So I want to encourage you. See it. And that was why I gave out the teaching the other day and the text on Facebook. I do not believe in only the house church anymore. We need all of it. We need the house church, the meeting in the home. We need the meeting in the bigger gathering. We need the outreach. We need the mission. So, Torben, are you a house church guy? No, not anymore. So you're a tradition church guy? No, not. I'm a church guy. I believe in the body. And I believe the body have all of it and not only one of it. And that is the problem when we say house church. I see that now, because then we isolate ourselves to say, this is who we are. Or bigger church, this is who we are. No, we need it all. And when it all comes together, explosion happens. I encourage you strongly. Go in and see the teaching I've given out. Go in and see it. Give it a chance. This whole teaching series of the right seed, the right ground, the doing of the word in the framework of the model of Jesus, that is where we raise people up to become strong and we see multiplication. So it's good to be in Bergen. Look at it. It is so beautiful here. And there's not a lot of sun. It's raining a lot. But God is working and we are excited. And for you who live in Norway and this, look forward to see you over the next few months. Stay connected because a lot of meetings, a lot of places coming out, and we're going to travel also. God bless you. Bye-bye.